Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Alright, so as the title suggests, today's video is going to be a book review. And my first book review will be done on Greenlights by McConaughey. I will preface this video by saying that, before reading this book, I was a fan of Matthew McConaughey. I loved his work, and based on what I could gather about him as an individual, whenever I would watch interviews, I liked who he was, who he is. He seemed to be someone who's very grounded, and it showed up in his work ethics. So I would have already read this book with a bias. Two, I am also someone who journals, and I'm a fan of journal-style content, such as autobiographies or anything of that nature. So this would already be in a category that seems familiar to me, and what I like and what I prefer. That being said, if, watching this video, you had hoped for some kind of bashing and stuff like that, this ain't it. This ain't that video. Right? But that being said, I will try to be as objective as possible in terms of how I describe my experience with the book. And, towards the end of the video, of course, share whether or not I would recommend it. All right, so let's get into it. And let's start with the positives. Let's start with the likes. Number one, this is a very easy read. Easy. Like, don't let these pages fool you. I read this book in less than 24 hours. Now, I have definitely come across books that are smaller in size, and it took me days, maybe even weeks, to read the book, because by the time I took it up, I had to, read one page 3, 4, 5 times to really get the concepts. But this is not that. A very easy read. From the moment I started reading the book, I was dying of laughter. It was very candid. It was very open. I could tell that, okay, from what's presented in this book, there's a lot of honesty there, and some parts of it might make you uncomfortable, but it would have been said anyway. And I love that, because to me, that's authentic and it's genuine, and it's something that I would appreciate. Now, another thing I liked about the book was that it's informative. Not in the way that you would think in terms of perhaps how the world, the movie scene works, or how Hollywood works, or, tips and tricks on how to survive Hollywood. But in general, in terms of how people work and how life works. And, some of the things that you need to cue into that you may have been taking for granted all of this time. Especially if you're an intuitive person, someone who believes in trusting your gut, someone who believes in proper timing, this book kind of reinforces some of that. And it shows, how Matthew was willing to move whenever he got that instinct. So if he felt like he needed to do something, there was no hesitation around it, which is great, because oftentimes that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part, to move. So sometimes we'll get signs over and over and over telling us of what, the next move should be, or to move away from persons who aren't necessarily good for us, and we don't move. So one of the most important things that I thought of when I was reading the book was just how very he moved whenever he got that sign. I love that. And overall, it gave a full picture to the person that we'd have only seen a fraction of through his work or whatever media coverage that he would be present on. I love that he added pictures of when he was younger and older, and just things in his journal that he would have kept over time, and how important that was in the grand scheme of things when it came to like his overall growth, and just things that he may have documented over time, and promises that he may have made to himself, which later came to fruition, that he even forgot writing down. And like that speaks to the power of like vision boarding and planning, like writing down specific goals and being clear about it, and just how your subconscious mind kind of takes over. And 5, 10 years down the line, sometimes even shorter, 6 months, 3 months, you're looking back on those goals and you've realized that, wow, I didn't even realize that this was something that I had written down. Love, love, love that. And I think those two things, vision boarding and the importance of planning and introspection, and responding to your intuition, are two of the biggest takeaways that I got from this book, and would essentially like cover like my top 3 pros. So it's an easy read, easy read. You can, sit down in like less than 24 hours and read it. It's funny, it's honest, it's candid, and it's authentic. And 2, it's informative. It reminds you of how the mind works, if you're into psychology, how people work, and how, those internal cues are what's directing you to, your bigger purpose. All right, let's talk about the cons and some of the things that I, didn't particularly like. I'm not a fan of paper sleeves. I feel like it's either it's on or it's off, right? So for me and paper sleeves, I would most likely be like the person to like glue them down or tape them down. It's a little bit distracting, but that's just me. That's my preference. It doesn't take away from the content of the book, but it just makes it hard to maneuver sometimes. So that's one thing that I would say is a dislike. But the second thing is it was too short. It was a little too short. I would have liked to see a lot more information on like lessons that he would have learned in the earlier parts of marriage. Like towards the end of the book, he referenced how he met his wife and how he knew that she was the one, and how she just kind of blended into his family seamlessly and his friend circle seamlessly, and just the level of support that she has provided over the years. But I would have liked to see a little bit more. What were some of the green lights in terms of conflict that developed him as a man when it came to loving his wife, especially because in the beginning of the book, he spoke about the relationship his parents had and how they were divorced twice and married 3 times, and he would have referenced that kind of relationship throughout the book. I would have wanted to see if he noticed like any similarities in terms of how he loved his wife compared to how his father loved his mom. And that's it. Those are my 3 cons. Or, no, sorry, 2. 2 cons. The paper sleeve, that's a pet peeve of mine. That's the thing. And it was too short. I would have wanted a little bit more context on that. I feel like that's one area that he could have delved in a little bit further. So now the ultimate question is, would I recommend this book? Now, let's bear in mind the preface that I had coming into this conversation. And so if you are someone who likes those things, you might not necessarily like Matthew per se in terms of his work, but you like that type of person. And you like that type of content in books. Like you're into self-help books, you're into autobiographies, you're into books in those categories, then yes, get this book. You will absolutely love it. It will bring joy to your life for the moment that you're reading it. I literally immersed. I'm gonna see if I can find a clip of when I just got the book and input it somewhere here. If not, I'll post it to my social media and you can follow me there and kind of check it out. But I easily forgot where I was, what I was doing, who I was around, and just wanted to be in the book. And if this isn't necessarily like your typical pick, I mean, I would challenge you to give yourself permission to be open to something different, something new. And if you want to first pick for this genre, then this book would be it. I strongly recommend that and stand behind that, and have encouraged a couple of friends to buy it. So I really mean that when I say it. But aside from that, if you do get the book, I hope you enjoy it. If you disagree or agree with anything that I've shared so far, comment in the description below. No, not the description. Comment in the comment section. Yeah. Comment in the comment section below and let's talk about it. Like, we don't all have to be on the same page. And I love a difference in opinion. That's how I get to learn. And so I'm looking forward to building a community around these book reviews. Thank you so much for hopping on and spending this time with me. Feel free to check out some of my other videos that I've posted to my channel. And until the next book review, I'll see you. Thank you. Bye.